The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. So, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what the case may be, but I am noticing that there should be things that should be in place that should be like etiquette that we should be doing in certain places, in certain situations. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Hey, we're all thinking it.
But
you just said it. So.
Okay. So first things first, why do we have to have as many cars as possible in a parking lot? Like, okay.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I understand the concept, more vehicles and people able to park, meaning more people going in and out. I get it. But it's not safe. Like Walmart parking lots, for instance. Really bad, right? Everybody's just walking like in the places you should be driving. Everybody's like trying to back out when you're trying to come through.
If you want to complain about parking lots, then take a drive down to Costco.
Costco is really bad too.
Like,
yeah. So here's one thing I want to talk about is the parking lot situation. These companies are multi-billion dollar like superstore enterprises. Like they don't, it would be okay for them to lose a few $1 million just by expanding the parking spaces, especially for these big ass, long ass trucks that for some reason don't know how to park properly. So basically the parking spaces need to be made for these really big F-350 dually diesel jacked up widened trucks. So that's the first thing. So we need the spaces to be much, much bigger so we can, park properly. The second thing is it's not safe to walk around in these parking lots. So one of the things I feel like we need to do is there should be a space in between where the cars park up to each other where you can actually walk through that space. So you're not walking in the place where cars need to be coming in and out.
Kind of like a sidewalk.
Yeah, kind of like a sidewalk in between where the cars would meet in the parking space. Instead, they would be moved out and there would be a space to walk through.
Right. I think it's the Linds in Cedar City here. They have one in like a little space between the spaces where you can like walk down in the middle between the cars.
That's also assuming the vehicles park properly.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I feel like that would make more sense. Make it a
little bit safer.
I also think that pedestrians just need to watch where they're going. Like, yeah, I can get it if like you're not able to like hear everything around you, if like you physically cannot hear everything around you. But I mean, like, still, you're in a parking lot where there's lots of traffic. There's a lot of dangerous things happening.
Yep.
And a lot of things going on. If you do not understand that the street is a dangerous place to be, then you need to learn. But
yeah, so and that's the thing too is then if everybody chose to back into those parking spots where then you can actually put your groceries in without putting your groceries in while you're like in the space where people need to drive through.
Yeah, that would make sense too. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would free up the space and make it a little bit more safer for people.
Everybody must start backing into their spaces. Granted, like situations like that, I can understand like the pressure of being like, oh yeah, I got to hurry and park because there's like cars behind you and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But Honestly, I think everybody just needs to practice their patience a lot more.
Well, that's true. We just need to be better human beings and actually have patience and like wait for people to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, people can't see. Like when they're, especially if you got two big ass trucks. I'm saying big ass a lot. Love the big ass. So if you have these two huge trucks, like parked on either side of a very small vehicle, you're not going to be able to see around these. To know if people are coming and going, cars are coming and going. So I would assume, as a reasonable person, is that if somebody has their backup lights on and they're creeping out, you should stop and wait for them to come out. And the good news is that after they drive away, you now have a free parking spot. I mean,
I just inhaled.
Did I give you a weird?
No.
I give you a weird? Okay.
I just inhaled my spit as I was opening my mouth.
Oh, dear heaven!
Sorry about that. Sorry.
That's gross.
No, so I think the only disadvantage or the only like downside to this whole thing of like putting space in between the parking spaces is like it would be. I don't see a lot of opportunities to like pull through anymore. I like to do that a lot where I see like I will go through a parking lot.
That is true.
And I'll like look for a space that's open on both sides so I can pull through. And that way, like instead of backing out, I can just pull right through. I can just pull right out as soon as I'm ready to go. So that's what she said. I can pull right out as soon as. I'm going to stop saying that shit. I'm going to stop now. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It's just that I'm a dirty old man, and so when certain phrases and certain words are said in a sentence, I just can't help but laugh. It's bad. I know. Our
new thing is like instead of saying that's what she said, we now say I declare bankruptcy. To reference The Office, that references that's what she said. So.
Yeah, I like it.
I declare bankruptcy.
I agree. So the situation with the carts would just be easy. It would just be like you would have a stall where a parking spot would be, and it would just be for carts. And so they can actually pull them out in this kind of island between the two parking spaces, and they can walk them through there. So now the employees are more safe out in the parking lot.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being very helpful and very useful. If company liability goes a little bit down for employees,
I would think so.
Staff safety. Yeah.
Okay, we just solved one of the world's problems. Let's do another.
Okay, parking lots.
Okay.
Get going.
So here's my next thing. Okay, so proper etiquette in going to a superstore. Do you go in through the area that says enter here? Or do you go through or do you just always enter through the right?
Are you talking about like how, like take Walmart for example, where it says like, it's like both sides say welcome, but one side underneath says enter here.
Yeah.
Or like if you're walking out, it'll say exit
only. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that was a thing for a long time with COVID. Honestly, I do think that like when you're in a shopping center, whether like you're going inside or just like on this, like where you're walking in like an aisle, because I'm always driving on the right because we live in America.
Yep.
Automatically in my brain, I assume I need to walk on the right. But then I I subconsciously and like for no good reason do get really frustrated when people are walking against like or walking on the right side, but they're coming towards me. And I'm like, that's not how you do it. But,
yeah, that's why I'm saying there should be some kind of shopping store etiquette where everybody keeps right. Except to pass. I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's that, assuming that people would not be able to do that. But I really feel like there should be some kind of etiquette, just like when you're driving, that when you're in the superstore, you know where things are going and how the flow through the store. That way you're not like running into people, or, you know, you're taking up the whole center of the aisle, because these aisles are super duper like skinny, you know, like passing people in carts. You're just like, oh, sorry, let me, you know, shove my cart over here into the aisles, you know, shelves.
To be fair, I do find myself walking on the left side a lot more because I'm trying to get past everybody. Because whenever I go into a store, I'm speed walking. I want to get in, get my shit, and get out.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
I think just like you're driving, keep right except to pass. You know, and especially if you're stopping to look at the pretty deer, and, you know, a wreck, you know, some kid threw up on the floor or whatever. Just, if you're going to stop and stare and just enjoy the moment of the kid screaming, the mom's like freaking out, the, you know, the manager's there going, well, I guess we got to clean this stuff up. Just stay right. You know, I don't mind if you park in that lane. Just give me enough space so I can get around you.
Is this a complaining and nitpicking episode?
It might be.
I feel like
it might be.
I feel like
I'm in one of those moods.
I feel like we're complaining about things that like aren't a huge deal, but at the same time, subconsciously, we're like, if we fix this, things would probably be a lot easier. Speaking of the whole like driving on the right whole thing, are we done with the whole like store thing? Or?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna come back. Let's come back to it, but I just want to talk about like the whole driving on the right thing. So, living out east, you know how it's like stay on the right except to pass.
Mm-hmm.
But here, like on the West Coast, or we're not on the West Coast, but like out in like the western part of the U.S., it's like left is the fast lane, which means you can stay in the left lane and you're fine. Like if you're going faster,
that's actually not true. I think in most states in America nowadays is you're supposed to keep right except to pass. But most places in the mid to eastern parts actually enforce it. Like you'll actually, like a cop will light you up if you're sitting in the left lane.
Yeah, like I do like stay in the right lane unless I'm going to pass, but I think like here it's like, no, if you're going faster over the speed limit, like 5 or 7 over the speed limit, I'm going to stay in the left lane. And it's like, no. Okay, no. Stay in the right lane. Like, unless you're trying to pass me up, right, you stay in the right lane.
Travel. Left is pass.
Yeah.
But the problem is that like now like everybody's trying to pass, and so everybody's just kind of sitting in the left lane.
Yeah.
And one of the things, like, you know, you're just talking about, we need to figure out how to be better human beings and be patient. And so what I would do actually is I would sit, I'd go, okay, well, you know, this isn't moving. Everybody's just kind of not getting past this, you know, semi or trailer or whatever. So I'm just going to sit behind the trailer for a little bit longer until everybody gets past it. And that lane's now clear now. And then I get over and I pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the drive to St. George. Like I'm usually not in a rush. That was bad English. I'm normally not in a rush, unless I have like something huge going on. Then I'm gonna speed down. But
or
like,
you got to get to that Chipotle before it closes.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm so excited we're getting a Chipotle out here.
Did you see that? I was gonna say I was helping.
I'm so excited.
I was helping somebody apply for jobs earlier this morning, and as I was looking on the website of Indeed with them, mm-hmm. One of the first things that came up was Chipotle, and I was like, Cedar City's getting a Chipotle? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, back on the subject of driving on the right.
Yes.
So, but yeah.
So I was training. So when we were installing security systems, I did a preseason trip. A preseason trip for those of us normal people that don't go out and do weird stuff like this. A preseason trip is basically you can go out for like a week and a half, sometimes up to 2 weeks. And you just basically drive to an area. You have a bunch of equipment shipped to you. and you live out of hotels and you work for a week or two. That's basically what a preseason trip is. It's for the sales reps to train new trainees. It's for the technicians to train their new technicians. And at this point in time, I was training somebody very new. And basically I was tired. And so I was like, hey, would you be okay if you drove for an hour or two? Like, I'm seriously too tired to drive right now. He's like, yeah, okay. He's kind of a young kid. I think he was like 19 or 20. He was pretty young. And so we were driving, and he didn't realize, because we were working out in Texas, he didn't realize that you need to keep right except to pass. Like, stay in the travel lane unless you're passing. And then once you pass, you go back into the travel lane. And so he's just like, because he's a Utah kid, he's just chilling in that lane. Then all of a sudden he's just like, oh crap. And I'm just like, what? And sure enough, I look in the rearview mirror and there's a cop behind us. His lights on. I'm like, okay. I'm like, don't panic. It's perfectly fine. We'll just explain the situation. We'll just move on. And so he goes to pull over, and then the cop, like after he gets over to the pass or into the travel lane, the cop turns off his lights and he continues forward. And it was just because he's like, dude, get out of the passing lane.
I think you did the same with me in a different kind of situation. We were caravanning out to Texas, and I was just chilling in the left lane because, living in California, I'm just, like, very used to just chilling in the left lane.
Yep.
And I think, like, in the middle of my music gets interrupted, and I'm like, damn it. I look, I'm like, oh, like, Jacob's calling me. Answer it, and you're just like, yeah, you want to pull over to the right lane because the further east you get, you're going to need to stay in the right lane. And I was like, makes sense. Okay. And then as I got in the right lane, like I could finally see past the trucks. It was just like, keep right unless the pass.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Big, huge signs. Like, like basically once you get to Texas, that's when the big, huge signs start coming out.
I think it starts in New Mexico.
Or New Mexico?
Yeah. I think like I think it's like California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, like, those are
the four corners on the West Coast for some strange reason. We're like, we like to camp out in that left lane. And we like that left lane. It's a beautiful lane. We like to ease into that lane.
And then you hit like Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, and it's like, yeah, keep your dumb ass on the right side before like
yeah.
The fact that like you want to complain makes me want to just be very aggressive. So we might bounce off of each other in a very mean way tonight.
Okay. So now here's the dilemma. Let's go back to the Walmart.
Okay.
So what do you do if they have islands?
What do you mean?
So basically there's like the bigger, because like how they have the aisles, but they have like one big lane, but then there's like little islands in between them.
Oh, like the $5 movie cart, and then like the...
Yep. Then it'd be like a Doritos stand, or it might be like the muffins or something.
Same thing. If you're like, stay on the right side, I'd say same thing. And if you need
think
to,
of that big huge lane, like take those islands out and think of it as a big huge lane. Keep right.
I would say if you need to pass somebody, then go in between the islands,
go
through the left,
it.
and then
because
it's Walmart, so you're probably going to see some folks that know each other. And it's like, okay, you guys are going to stop and have this conversation in the middle of this lane. Okay.
How about the people that sit in the middle of the roadway and are having a chat?
Are you talking about like two cars pulling up and like rolling down the window?
Yeah.
I don't
like
see
one
that.
going one way, one go the other. They stop, they roll down their windows like, hey, Bob, how's it going? Oakley, it's going really good. Oh, dang, did you hear about that cow that got out of the pasture? Yep, we sure did, and we caught it, and we got it back into your pasture, and everything was good. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's very rare that I see instances like that anymore. I actually did run into that the other day where I think I was like in a parking lot, but like these cars were like sitting next to each other, and it looked like they were having a conversation. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, I just want to leave and go home. I want to go home and open up my bag of Takis and watch Sons of Anarchy. Like,
why are you blocking my parking lot? Yeah, it's annoying.
But I also noticed that like as soon as one or both of the drivers see like someone waiting, that's when they'll like start to move.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, have this conversation later tonight at the bar. Like,
yeah,
let me go home.
One of you go to one of the other person's home and have your conversation there.
Because if not, I'm getting out of my car and I'm walking over and I'm going to sit and have that conversation with you. Or not, I will join your conversation.
Oh, that would be so funny. Just walk up. Hey guys, how's it going? What are you guys talking about? You guys talking about Stranger Things?
I'm just like,
oh man, that season 3 was crazy.
Like,
not like I'm wearing the t-shirt or anything.
Just walk up and they're like, do we know you? And I'm just like, no, but you see that car that's right there? That's me. I would like to pass through, but if you're not going to, then I'm going to sit here and I'm going to chat with you guys. I will join in on this conversation because if you won't move, then neither will I guess.
It happened to me 3 times this week, and I was seriously like, kind of pull up behind them. I'm just like, okay.
That is so unlucky.
And they're just continuing their conversation. I'm just like, okay.
I feel like
the guy kind of looks over at me. I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going?
I feel like 3 times in 1 week is really bad luck.
That's really bad luck.
Especially if you're living in this town where there's not really a whole lot going on. Like, that's got to suck.
Yeah. It was rather annoying. It's like, at least pull off to the side of the road where people can at least get around you, or go park in your driveway, which I'm sure is not very far from where you're at, but you just kind of decided to like pull up next to each other and have a chat.
Or just be
strange.
Or just be considerate and just pull up next to each other and be like, hey, I would like to talk to you. It's nice to see you, but we're in a very dangerous situation here that is not super polite, so let's have this chat later. I think the simple wave and say hello so you acknowledge each other in public is fine, but if you're going to have like that conversation like in the middle of a road, have it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's like, come on, like let's think about this. Blocking the roadway, and like legit, like there was most of them were like, oh, okay, someone's behind me, and they move on, and they do their thing. But there was really like one. I was stuck. There was several minutes that went by, and I'm just like waving at them, just like, hey, can I get through? They're just like, well, okay, great. It's all right.
Yeah,
my customer's
like
food's
that.
getting cold, but yeah, sure. Continue your conversation. DoorDash. Not like I don't need an additional tip,
Yep.
I'm not gonna get into that, but I'm very upset at DoorDash. But we already had that conversation, so we can move past that. Okay. Next item. What do we do about opening the doors for people? Because I don't know what happened, but I feel like somewhere, I want to say about 10 maybe or so years ago, we stopped opening doors for women. And now we just kind of like sort of open the door, and then while we're coming in, we kind of like try to keep it open so you could at least grab it and go inside. Like what is that? I don't really understand what that is.
I think it's a generational thing where like my mom and dad kind of like raised me to open the door for just not just like women, but just open the door for people in general, because it's not necessarily just a chivalrous thing to do. It's just a polite thing to do. Like if you see somebody that's walking behind you and you get to the door first, you hold the door open for them because that's to show a common courtesy. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with just like an hour or two people, we want to do our business and get out of here. It's like it's like a way to acknowledge another person as like, oh, I'm a human being on this planet. You're a human being on this planet. Let me do something nice for you because in case nobody else has done anything nice for you today. So it's like,
yeah, that's kind of how it's turned out.
But I think it's also like a parenting generational thing. It seems like not a lot of people think about like explaining to their kids the reasons why it's polite to hold the door open for somebody else. I think there's a certain distance where it's okay to not hold the door open for somebody else. Like let's say I'm at the door and you're like 20 feet behind me, which if I hold the door open for you, that's going to make you want to hurry. And I don't want to make you hurry. So,
or if you have your hands full, obviously you're not going to hold the door open for somebody. You're going to probably open the door with your butt and like, turn around and go out.
Right.
But what I don't like, and I think this is actually, it's not like, what's the word? It's not triggering. It doesn't like make me upset, but it's like, don't half-ass it. Like, some of these guys are just like, oh, I'll hold the door open sort of for you. And so like while they're still walking in, they're kind of like popping like the door open as they kind of walk in.
Or they like kind of like hit the door open so they have enough time to make it. Yeah,
so they're like, I know I'm just coming in, so I'm just going to kind of keep the door still open so you can grab it and then open it. And it's like if you're not going to open the door for me, don't open the door for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's unreasonable. Maybe that's really picky, and maybe that's stupid. But I just feel like if you're gonna open the door to be kind to somebody, then step aside and open the door. Honestly, I'll probably let you go in in line before me if like we're at a place where you're gonna eat. Because you did the nice thing. I'm just like, hey, go in front of me. You're cool. Thanks for opening the door for me.
I think like the whole like half-assing thing also has to do with just like our common, I don't know how to explain it, but like it's like, yes, I acknowledge you and I want to hold the door open for you, but the position that I am in currently and like my spot, like where I'm standing, I don't want to
lose that space.
It's not necessarily I don't want to lose that space. It's just I'm not in a very convenient spot to open the door for you. You know what I mean?
Or I'm in too much of a hurry to stand there and hold it for you, so I'm just going to kind of, as I'm walking in, kind of keep popping it open so that you can grab it so you don't have to like open it all the way.
Yeah, but
I just think that's silly.
Yeah, but I do think that's also understandable because if you're in a hurry, like you're in a hurry, like
then don't bother open the door for me.
They want to get they want to get their stuff, but so do you. Like that's understandable.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you don't want to, if you're just like, oh, don't open the door. I mean, like I said, common courtesy. At least you're acknowledging that you're like trying to be courteous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like one of the things that I like to do because. Okay, so here's another thing. Some people like to give money, change, like cash, handouts to people that are outside. What do they call it? My mind just went blank. Basically, they're on the side of the road. They got a sign up saying, "Hey, anything helps." They're basically begging for money. Mm-hmm. But I thought there was a term for that. I don't know if I'm just like
homeless person, beggar. I think like
no.
I think
I don't remember what they.
I feel like the term that is used a lot is beggars, but I feel like that's a really inappropriate.
Okay.
Or like degrading. Yeah. I feel like that term is very degrading. And call it what you will, but I mean like it's just the sound of it kind of makes it sound like they're less than average in society.
Yeah, I get it.
But yes, I do know what you're talking about.
Okay. So here's my thing. Like some people think it's good etiquette. Like if you see somebody who, definitely seems like they are in need, that, if they have some change or if they have some cash, they try to give it out to somebody. Unfortunately, I used to do that. I mean, I used to do that all the time when I was in Phoenix.
Like all the time. Hand out cash?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Like change, like if I had cash on me, I'd give them a couple of bucks. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, hey, are you hungry? I'll go to McDonald's and I'll give you a couple of hamburgers or something. I used to do that like quite often. Unfortunately, I had too many instances where it was like, okay, I feel like I don't need it. Like I'm not really in a position where I can really do that anymore. Mm-hmm. But I did have an experience where there was somebody and there's just like, hey man, like I'm trying to get home to my kids. I just need some money for some gas to put in the car so I can get down the road to my kids. And I'm just like, okay, great. That's a very weird, I don't know why
I was going to say, I'm not sure why you did the accent, but like continue.
But anyway, And so I was like, all right, man, here's, I think I actually gave him like 10 or $15. Like, okay. I was just like, all right, dude, you gave me a good story. Here's some money.
That's good for a meal.
No joke. I saw him a week later. Not only did he head back to wherever he said he was going to go back to visit his kids, but he had brand new clothes on.
Like it looked like they looked clean.
They looked clean and brand new.
Did he look clean?
Yeah, he looked clean and brand new. Like he had a fresh shower, like everything. And I looked at him. And I kind of cocked my head at him. I was just like, I remember you from somewhere. And he looked at me and he cocked his head and he's just like, oh, you gave me some money. And I'm cocked my head again. And I was like, I did give you money. What the F? And he just kind of like decided not to look at me anymore and kind of rushed away, got in his car and left.
So he was pretty nervous.
And so I was like, I think I picked up what he was putting down, which is he was probably running some kind of scam, pretending, he needed money to get money. And so that's when I was like, well, I guess my discernment of, who is in need and who is not very good. And so I just kind of decided to myself that I wasn't going to do that anymore. Unless it was somebody that I knew that was close to me, that I knew was having a hard time. They didn't ask me, but I was like, and my wife and I have done this several times, for friends and coworkers that, needed a little help. And, we'll just be like, hey, here's $50. Just, no, I think that's fair. I'm just like, no, like, you're good. Like, I'm giving this to you. It's a gift. Like, I would much rather do that because I know where it's going. Mm-hmm.
You know their intentions too.
Yeah, and I know their intentions are good. And so that's kind of what made me stop handing out money. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing with etiquette. I still feel that we need to acknowledge human beings even if they're at their lowest point.
Yeah.
And so if I see somebody that's just like, hey, homeless, hungry, need help, I at least smile on him and I wave. I just think to myself, hey man, I hope everything works out better for you. Kind of put that out into the universe, talk to God or whatever. And just be like, hey man, I really hope, in my mind, in my heart, and just be like, hey, I hope everything, goes well for you. Hey, send them with what they need.
Yeah, for sure.
And I at least smile and wave. I'm just like, hey man, sorry you're in this situation, but you're a human being and, I see you.
So something that, like, I haven't done this for a fat minute, but, like, this is something that, like, I would do, and I had done, like a couple of times, is instead of, like, handing out money, what I've done is I've handed out books that I read that have, like, helped me with my perspective.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like, handing out books that have had, like, wisdom to give, Art of Happiness being one of them.
Yep.
The amount of copies of that book that I have, oh my goodness. One of my favorite books that I've ever read. So that one and a couple of others. But like I'll like give out books, or like I'll just sit down and like just talk with them for a minute. Just like take a minute to just have a conversation with them and like figure out like just who that person is for a minute. So because sometimes it only takes like 5-10 minutes to get to know a person and their intentions and like where their life is headed and how it got there or whatever.
I'm sorry.
Or
it's really, really hot in here. And
it
so
is warm.
I'm just turning on my AC.
Oh, you're good.
I don't know what's going on, but it's freaking hot.
It is pretty warm.
I
think I could hear. I think you could hear it through the audio, like kicking off. Also, like instead of giving them like food, what I'll do is like lens is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Like there's usually a lot of people holding up signs in that like in the entrance going into lens. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can hear it.
I can feel it.
But
it feels good. Oh yeah.
Sometimes, like, when I'm getting my groceries, I'll, like, kind of walk past the granola aisle and just be like, okay, well, what's something super cheap that I could probably give them?
Yeah.
And I get, like, a box of granola bars that's, like, $1.50 or something and just give them the box. And it's, like, it's $1.50.
Yeah.
Or $1.50, $2, whatever it is. Like, it's, like, here.
Yeah.
Like it's like just something to like get you going for maybe the rest of the day or the next couple days or whatever. So
that's nice of you.
But yeah,
I got stiffed one time.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. So we were on another preseason trip. I think it was in Colorado. Yeah, I think it was in Colorado. And it was like me, Jacob, and like one other guy, working with one of our friends, our close, family friends that was in the business. But anyway, so we were there and I was hungry. I hadn't eaten like all day because we're just slammed. And so I went to like a McDonald's or something like that, or a Wendy's. It was like, I don't know, 9:00 at night. Like it was closer to closing time. And this person comes up to me and she was like, "Hey, I don't want to beg you for money, but I'm really hungry. Do you think like would you mind just buying me like a hamburger or something?" I was just like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll buy you something. What would you like?" And she's like, "Well, just get me a meal, like whatever the cheapest meal is." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I was like, "Just hang out here. I'll go inside and I'll get it and I'll bring it out to you." Mm-hmm. And so I bought it. So I had 2 meals, 2 drinks, 2 fries, and a hamburger. Mm-hmm. And I brought it out and she was gone.
Oh, that's effed.
I mean, I was trying to do a nice thing, and I was just like, now I have all this food. And I'm just like, okay.
Did you eat the food?
Yeah, ended up eating the food. I was sick afterwards, but yeah, I mean, 2 large drinks, 2 large fries, and a double cheeseburger. Yeah, I was. Yeah, it
doesn't sound healthy.
No, I was hurting that night. But I was mad enough. I was just like, I'm gonna eat this. I don't care.
Just eating out of spite.
Out of spite. I'm just like, you know what? You're a jerk. You are not a nice human being. I'm gonna eat this every single drop.
I wonder what happened.
I don't know. I hope. I really hope that. Maybe. They got a ride somewhere.
It's like situations like or something. Situations like that. It's like, in my head, I've gotten like pretty good about being open to giving someone the benefit of the doubt. But like also it's like, well, come on, dude.
But
like,
we're also dealing with
human
beings, and there's a lot of terrible human beings out there.
You couldn't have at least like ran inside really quick and been like, never mind, or anything. Like,
yeah. Like after I said, yeah, definitely, just hang out here. Like, and she was like hanging out, asking for change from other people. But for some reason, like for me, she's just like, you know what, I just need a hamburger. I'm hungry. And I'm just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And I've done that a couple of times. I bought meals for people and gave it to them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that contributes to, to transience and homelessness. I don't know. But
maybe not.
Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. But how bad is the homelessness out in California and LA? Like, poof.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I mean, like,
terrible.
Granted, if you're living in the city, it is probably going to be absolutely terrible. Like, I know there are streets and like
city blocks,
and neighborhoods where it's just like people living out just in the streets, and like the tarp that they got set up, like that's their house. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, I know. I did know a guy that was like he lived in a tent and just in a like a dirt spot in the town that I was living in down in Temecula. And he was like, yeah, the closest thing I have to a shower is just this bag. And he had like a solar shower bag with like a little like attachable faucet kind of thing. Like a plastic faucet.
Like a camping shower.
Yeah, pretty much. And
we have one. They don't work very well.
And he would like set that up. He would like set that up on a tree every once in a while. He's like, yeah, I just heat this thing up and like let it sit in the sun. Sometimes I'll just take it into a gas station bathroom and fill it up there. And I'm just like,
wow,
you do you, man. And like, he was not a very clean person, but I mean, granted, like,
I mean, if you're homeless, you're not going to be very clean.
Yeah, and it sucked too. He was married, had kids, and just couldn't make any of it work. Oh, wow. But I mean, I wonder what he's up to now.
Well, and a lot of that I think is due to like we're not addressing mental health as a whole. Mm-hmm. Like,
You know what I'm really surprised about this town is that a lot of the jobs that are hiring and a lot of the jobs that are open have to do with like treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of residential treatment programs that are hiring, like constantly hiring.
That's one thing I do like about Utah is they're very good at creating programs and like creating places where people can get more treatment and like more resources and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If they're in need.
For sure. Like Family Support Center, like other places like Canyon Creek, and then like
job
even
stuff, like even there's all sorts of stuff.
Even my place right now is like constantly hiring. Or it seems like we're constantly hiring anyway, because like we're a very growing company, so it's like we're constantly getting new clients, which means we need more staff.
Right.
But yeah, it is something very interesting to me that I found is just this place is like Southern Utah in general. I've noticed is just huge in hiring like roles for mental health.
Yeah.
Only thing that needs to change in that is better pay. Like, I do.
Also, employers need to like allow like there should be a way for them for individuals, because I think what was the statistic I heard last was that there was at least between 20 and 25% of any given company of people that are dealing with mental health in some shape or form.
Yeah. I think Rianne was actually brought this up a couple of weeks ago where like, I think this is outside of the podcast, but like where like those that work in a department like that, like mental health or dealing with domestic violence, is like, if you work in that field, then you should be getting like your own treatment in mental health, because
like at least weekly,
especially because a lot of the people that work in that field are very empathetic people. Mm-hmm. And it's like you are going to take a lot of that weight and you're going to feel that hit.
Yeah.
So like if you work in that department, then you should be getting your own mental health and your form of therapy and treatment. So
and we call that secondary trauma.
So
especially with dealing with all the things that are happening with individuals that they're providing services for.
Yeah. Like you're going to feel a lot of it. And like, it's really amazing to be a part of the change and the growth in other people and like providing for their development. But at the expense of you taking a little bit of a hit and also that wearing down on your own mental health, which does suck. But I mean, I do think that is a field that you don't necessarily choose. That's a field that chooses you.
Yeah.
So it is so easy to get burnt out in working in mental health. But it's also like, it's just as easy to like stay motivated to stick with it. So.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
And I really think that employers should have preventative measures in place where people, if they request it or they would like to have, some kind of some counseling or therapy, that they can get that, and they can get that on the frequency that they need.
Yeah.
Because some people only need it like maybe once a month, maybe once every other week. But there's some people where, these very intense, very dark situations that they're dealing with where they have to have it like maybe multiple times a week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And I really feel that employers should invest that money into that employee, especially because these certain employees, like you were saying, they're very empathetic. They're very good with working with other people. And they should definitely invest that time and that money to keep them at their optimal level by making sure they get the things that they need.
100%. Granted, like, at least for my work, like we have a very supportive group of staff where it's like we all have each other's back. We do a lot of bonding outside of the job, which is great. So like for some places that could be it, but at the same time it's like, no, you need like a formal sit down. But we also have like we have our therapists at our job, and like honestly sometimes I'll just go and sit in their office and just talk to them. But like And it's like,
hey man, how's it going?
In one way, shape, or form, like that's my way of getting my therapy, is just sitting down and talking to a trained therapist.
Mm-hmm.
But and just taking that time. But I mean, it's usually not for very long. It's like just sitting in their office while they got the time and just chatting with them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And I think people would actually stay in their careers and their positions longer too.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think we also, as a nation, I think we should probably look towards some of the things that they're doing in Europe, where, they're not doing, 9, 10, 12, 14-hour work days. They may only work maybe 3, maybe 4 days a week. And then they have these things called holidays. It's not like our holidays where it's like Christmas or Thanksgiving. No, it's like holidays is like they have like weeks on end where they take off of work, where they really do have the time to reset.
Yeah.
For some people, they really need to get out and away from the city. That's one of the things that I absolutely love about living in a small town, is that there's plenty of places I can get to within 20 minutes that's outside of the city, where it's quiet. You don't hear the I-15 and the rumbling of of the tractor trailers going down.
Dude. I'm going to have to show you my meditation spot that I found up Cedar Canyon.
Yeah? Nice.
Yeah. It was it was last week, and I was so damn bored out of my mind. I had nothing going on that Saturday. Mm-hmm. I just I was like, you know what? I just need to get out. And I just went out, got my car, just drove up the canyon for about 15 minutes, and was like, oh, that looks like a spot to park. I'll just park there. Just parked, got out of my car, took off my shoes, took off my shirt, and just walked around for 30 minutes and just looked for a spot to get away from everything else, and just sat down and did some rock stacking, did some meditative practices. It was pretty awesome. I loved it.
So my last time I got out of the city, I went up Center Street like you usually do, to go up, towards Bryan Head and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But instead of going up up through Duck Creek and stuff like that, instead I went up through Kolob Canyon. There's some Kolob Canyon cabins, mm-hmm. but you have to turn on this road. It's not marked very well, but man, I go up there. I've been up there twice now. The cabins up there are absolutely beautiful. The view and seeing into the Cedar City area is absolutely beautiful. So here's some of the pictures. You can just keep swiping left. I think I deleted all my dick pics, so I think you should be fine.
This is a podcast. We're still live.
We're still live. What is this?
For those that can't see, I'm currently looking through. Whoa!
I saw a
is that a rattler?
Yeah,
that is
a
rattler.
It was a little guy. He was probably maybe 3, maybe 4 feet long. He wasn't that big. I've seen him up to 6 feet long, out in Arizona. So he was just a little guy. But did you see the deer?
Out. Yeah.
Pretty cool, right? So I just went up there. I turned off my car, and all I could hear was the insects. And every once in a while, every 10, maybe 15 minutes, maybe a car might come down the dirt road.
Dude.
I just wave at them.
You brought up insects. I immediately thought about I was at work, and one of the kids was like, oh, look, a cricket. And I was like, you found a cricket? They're like, yeah. So I walked right up to it, picked it up, and I was like, you ever eat a cricket before? And he was like, no. And I was like, I hear these actually make really good snacks.
Oh, you did not. You did not eat that cricket.
So we were talking.
You did not eat that cricket.
I ate the cricket, but let me get to that. So,
oh my god.
So I'm that person that was as a kid, I did eat bugs. So crickets actually do make good snacks. So you catch a cricket and you try it and you tell me.
I've had deep fried crickets before.
Okay.
From Caborca.
Yeah. But yeah, so a live cricket, I picked it up and I was just like, hey, so you know that these make really good snacks? And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, you want to try it? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. So I just ate it, and his jaw just dropped. He was like, like this little kid. I'm like, tasty.
Okay. Well, You probably shouldn't eat those inside of town though.
Because
you don't know what they've been in, especially like if they get like treatments for like with insecticide and stuff like that. You don't want to be ingesting that crap.
Felt fine after, but I mean, like,
I'm sure you did.
Lucky that time.
I mean, it wouldn't be enough to like really really make you sick, but
yeah,
I've been deeply exposed to insecticide.
Yeah,
and it's not fun. It's not good at all.
We should probably end the episode pretty soon since I think we're at 45 to 50 minutes right now.
Yeah. So. I wanted to end it on a very dark, ominous. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. So we're gonna continue these little short ones for a while, probably for another couple more weeks, just so we have a nice bank for you guys. When we decide to go on vacation, refrigerators break down, or we got a birthday to go to, or a relative passes away. Wow, I'm getting really dark.
I mean, life happens. What can I say?
Basically, when life happens, we have something for you guys. So,
hiccup.
It was like a hiccup and a burp at the same time. It didn't feel good. I feel like I have this bubble in my chest now. And on that note, thank you so much for watching this week's episode. Hopefully, we did earn your all's follow over on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that red subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can know when we go live. We usually go live between 7 and 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which would be around 8:30 Central Time. So we hope we will see you all in the next one. And again, thank you so much for supporting us. We really do appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.